So I thought maybe what I would do is do just a short reading of a different text, a completely different text, and do it with Trinitarian theology in mind. Try to interact with the text as though I'm reading from a specifically Christian triune perspective. So the text I chose, Mark 5, 1-20. That's the section where Jesus... Oh, there's Pastor Neil. That's the section where... Hi, Pastor Neil. That's the section where Jesus exorcises a demon from the Gerasene demoniac. And normally we wouldn't read this and say, "Oh, this is a section of Scripture that deals with the Trinity." Instead, this is just something that Jesus does. Well, my hope is that if we think about being triune Christians as we read this passage, maybe we can think about the Trinity in a different way elsewhere. So, in this text, for those of you who remember, you've got a guy who, if we were to see this man on the street, we'd probably look at him and say, "Oh, this guy's crazy. He's insane." But that's not a deep enough understanding of what afflicts him. He's possessed by demon legion, is the name that the demon gives itself, or demons. At any rate, this guy, he's naked. He's cutting himself. He's living amongst the tombs. He's cut off from community. He's living amongst pigs, swine. All of these things to a Jew would at the time would be really unclean, really icky. You would never be surrounded by corpses. You would never be unclothed in public. You would never mutilate yourself. You would certainly never spend time with pigs if you're following halakhic law. And most importantly, you're cut off from the community. This isn't taking place in the Decapolis. It's a Gentile region north of of Galilee, where Jesus is normally doing his ministry. Nevertheless, even Gentiles know that it's important to be embedded in a community, to be a part of your family and friends and your extended network of relations. This man has none of that. So a typical reading of this passage would emphasize, what is it that Jesus is doing? Well, not only is he getting rid of demons, and that's really important. That's how he saves this man, is he gets rid of demons. The question is, what is he doing symbolically? By ridding this man of demons, what is he doing? Well, he's ritualistically purifying him. It's interesting after Jesus sends out the demons, the man appears and he's, what does it say? Gave them swine, blood. Oh yeah, there it is, verse 15. Then the disciples and the people in the city came to Jesus and saw the one who had been demon possessed, the demoniac, sitting and clothed and in his right mind. He's clothed. He's now acceptable. He can be a part of human society. This frightens them. And then this guy, he pleads with Jesus. Jesus, let me follow you. You're clearly the one that I want to be with. And Jesus says, no, go back to your own people. Jesus says in 19, go home to your friends. Tell them what great things the Lord has done for you, how he's had compassion. So what Jesus is doing is not just getting rid of demons. He's taking a man who is unclean and out of community and really inhuman from a biblical perspective, and he's making him human. And what does it mean to be made human? It means to be made whole, put in a community of relations, embedded in the right kind of network, the right kind of life. Now, from a Trinitarian perspective, we want to say that's how God is all the time, right? The Father, the Son, and the Spirit are in a constant, it's been described in a lot of different ways, like, a dance. I think Clark Pinnock calls it, where there's this community that's going from one to the other at all times. The Father wills in the Son by the power of the Spirit. The Son speaks the words of the Father, and they're empowered by the Spirit to give us power. That the Trinity itself is a kind of perfect communion, a perfect community. God in God's self is communal in that way. What Jesus is doing is not just freeing a man from demons. What Jesus is doing is putting this man in the kind of life that God has lived and will live from eternity. In this way, Jesus is previewing in this simple act, not simple, but amazing act that he does for this man, the future of human beings, that we too will be joined to this divine life, this perfect community where we're purified, made right for worship and relationship, and then put into that context of worship and relationship. Jesus is restoring this man to a lot of theologians say prolepsis, a preview of what our ultimate destiny in divine life is like. And we know that our life is going to be like that because we know what God's life is like in the Trinity. A life of perfect submission and at the same time love, of obedience and of command, a total unity in multiplicity. So that's, I would say, a Trinitarian reading of Mark 5, 1-20. So as you guys think about that, I'm not looking in the text and being like, where does the Spirit show up? Where's the Father? Where's the Son? Instead, I'm saying, what is the nature of the triune God, and how do we see that expressed in Jesus' actions?